Hello, and welcome to the Community IT Innovators Technology Topics Podcast, where we discuss nonprofit technology, cybersecurity, tech project implementation, strategic planning, and nonprofit IT careers. Find us at communityit.com.
I'm just going to record this and maybe it can be a podcast.
Yeah.
And then can I just ask you questions about what you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone, to the Community IT Innovators Technology Topics podcast. I'm Carolyn Woodard, the host, and today we're going to learn more about a single sign-on, which is a kind of cybersecurity project, I guess you would say, with Norwin Herrera. So, Norwin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Norwin Herrera. I've been in community IT for about 6 years now. And yeah, I work in the implementation of a single sign-on project for an organization.
And you are an IT business manager, and also you're the lead of that team, right? So can you just say a little bit about what an IT business manager is? I usually say they're like an account manager, but so much more because you all have both the technology background and technology skills and deep understanding and experience, but also a business background and a business kind of strategic thinking that you help the clients think through maybe how to get more value out of their IT infrastructure, maybe some improvements that they need to make, some strategic planning. So can you talk a little bit about what you do as an IT business manager?
Well, you just described it well. That's exactly what we do.
And so you had this client, and I think they are a school. Are they a charter school?
They're a public charter school, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you do a software selection with them? How did you come to the understanding that they needed a more robust single sign-on? And how did you go about helping them with that strategic planning?
Well, let's just start saying that they didn't have a single sign-on project platform in place. So they asked us what is the best recommendation that we have for them. And I mean, there's some elements to have in mind. If you have a kid, you know what is clever, right? So everyone who has a kid already knows clever because that's the platform that the students and the public schools are using. Some of the students and some public schools are using. So we know that from a fact that it is a single sign-on and it's easy to use and is helpful to your kids, right? So that was one element. The second element was because this organization, it was not a kids school; it's an adult school. But making a decision having a decision to implement a project that has to be easy to implement, user friendly, right? And if kids can get it, adults can get it. So that was like two more elements in play right there. And then the other element is, have we done it before, right? Like we as community have done it before. And the answer was yes. We already made it. We already implemented a project with single sign-on using Clever as the platform to do it. So we had the experience. We recommended to our clients something that we already knew. And obviously, we know the glitches in the system, and that's why we recommended, and the client says, I think we can go for it.
That's great. I want to just jump in and remind everyone that we are vendor agnostic. So, there are, I'm sure there are many different single sign-ons, probably even some more that are oriented and designed just for public schools systems, for remote learning, or for charter schools for remote learning. So this was the one that we chose. But as you said, this is kind of how you think through your strategic decision making. So we had the experience already of having used it. It was designed for this type of an implementation for schools, for their students to be able to, single sign-on, right? It's easier to log in. Can you describe a little bit what single sign-on is, just in case anyone doesn't know?
Yes, single sign-on, obviously, you mentioned it before, it's a part of the cybersecurity roadmap that we have in community IT. So it's one of the multiple elements that we consider having in your cybersecurity security infrastructure, right? So a single sign-on is one single point to sign in, right? And the moment that you sign in into that platform, you will have access to other platforms in your organization. So it's easier for the user because they don't have to remember 10 passwords, right? Or 10 different logins. They only have to remember one login, and that login basically grants you access to the rest of the software in your organization. You can name it, right? Google, Microsoft, Zoom, Slack, Asana, in whatever, you name it. The list of the software that are in your organization, you can basically include them in there. Obviously, if the single sign-on platform allow it to be configured that way, right? In some scenarios, some of the software that does not apply for that software for Clever, for example. So if it's not included, at least you can add the link in there, and some people can go from the platform all the way to the other software that you want to give them access. So single sign-on is basically one door for all your doors that you have internally in the organization. And it's good because in the moment that the person departs from the organization, if you cut off that single sign-on access, you basically are cutting off access to the rest of the systems in your organization. So easy to get in, also easy to get them out.
Yeah. And I think for schools, single sign-on is really valuable because often, the students will have the school property. It's their iPad or their laptop that they're using. And you, as the school, with a single sign-on, the student signs on. They only have to remember that one password. And then they have access through your device to the apps and programs that you have allowed on that device. So they can go to the things they need to go to for school, but they wouldn't be going to, apps that weren't appropriate or weren't allowed.
That is true. I mean, in this particular case, we have, for this organization, we had a mix of devices. So we had some Chromebooks devices, which make it a lot easier. And also we had some Microsoft devices. So we did something really, really interesting with this organization, having Clever as the identity manager is called. So basically, Clever is the one provisioning, and provision means creating the accounts in Google and also in Microsoft. I mean, you have to pay a little cost to it, right? But that cost is like well vested because I think it's $1 per user per year. So if you have 2,000 users, you pay $2,000 for the whole year, right? I mean, you can go lower and higher, but that's just to give you an idea, right?
And that would solve all of those headaches of trying to have managing all of those Chromebooks and all of the Microsoft devices.
That is the comparison I was going to give you. Like if you want to create a user in Google and also in Microsoft, it's going to take you at least, let's say, 15 minutes per user, right? You go to one user and then you go to another user. And then for those one single user in two different platforms, 15 minutes, right? Multiply that for 1,000. So how many minutes you have in there?
Yeah.
So
of
instead of
time that you're paying for.
Exactly. So some people will say, no, that is expensive, or the project is to implement is like expensive because we pay $25,000, right? Let's say $25,000. So divide that $25,000 in every single student. How much is the cost, right? And then if you do that manually, you can basically compare that, right? And then you don't have the layer of security because, somebody left the organization and then you forgot to disconnect the account. It takes you a long time to realize, this is what happens usually in organizations. They forget about closing some accounts. So in this particular case, you have two things, time saving and money saving at the same time.
And higher security, right? Especially if you are talking about children, but I think even for adult students, like you want to have that layer of security around them being able to do their schoolwork.
That is correct. So the first, you have like three things in one. So if you do one project, you're gonna have basically you have a check for cybersecurity, check for doing an easy onboarding, and check for doing an easy onboarding. And also you can have a check for saving time and saving money.
And I think just yes, you said that the onboarding and offboarding is easier. It's going to save you time, so that'll save you costs. But then also from what you're talking about, you must have some kind of dashboard in Clever where you can manage those devices, no matter which devices they are.
That is correct. I mean, no devices. You can basically manage users.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, users, no devices. The devices are managed in a different platform.
Differently,
They can be in Azure or they can be in the Google console. There is one thing that is important to have in mind. In this particular case, the organization that I work with, we basically tie the onboarding and user creation to their own student system information, SIS. So basically, the system who is creating the users are coming from their main source of creation, which is the student information system. So basically what we did in this project was zero intervention. So in the moment that the student is registered in their organization, right, in their system, that system is the one sending the instructions to Clever saying, hey, I have a new student. Here it is, right? So the student information system send the information to the student by one field. This field in this particular case is the status of the student. So if the status of the student is enrolled, automatically the system will send that information to Clever, and Clever will have internally a trigger, right? So Clever will ask itself, do I have this user in Google? If the answer is no, it will go ahead and create it. If the answer is yes, it's not going to do anything, right?
Right.
Then it will ask Microsoft, do I have this user in Microsoft? If the answer is yes, nothing will happen. If the answer is no, then it will go ahead and push to create a new provision, right? Create a new user in their platform. So imagine there is zero intervention in the way they're doing it. And where is everything coming from? From the student information system, which is most of the school have, right? They do have a school information system. So basically, we did this successful project, I will say, because we managed to get into their student information system, connected to Clever, and from Clever connected to Google and Microsoft.
It sounds amazing. So can you talk a little bit about from the student's perspective, how easy is this? Right.
Super easy, because before the student needed to remember one username and password for Microsoft, one user and password for Google, and then other software that they have in there, also they needed to remember that. So it was like a headache to be, remembering all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 systems to get access to. Now everything is basically in one place. Also, think about this. The systems now, Google and Microsoft are forcing you to have a compliance, 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 number, and symbol, right? So basically what we did in this particular case was, okay, let's make it simple for the student, and let's create something that is very unique to them, and also very unique, but we can comply with this 8 characters, uppercase, lowercase, number, and a symbol. So we managed to have something very, very creative for the students, easy to remember for them, and obviously easy to don't forget.
I cannot tell you, just with my own kids, the number of times that, like, in a class they have to do Google Slides because that's how they have to turn in their assignment, but then they can't show it on the screen because it's a Microsoft something or other. So I think that's just it just must be so good for the students, because you really want to lower their ability to say, oh, I couldn't do that assignment because I forgot that one password that has the app that I had to use for it. And then from the administrators, the people that you work with at the school, who may or may not be tech people, how was it for them to do this project? And is it easier for them to manage it all?
It was easier because the teachers were looking for it, so they were ready. They were already waiting for the project, right, to happen. And some of the teachers also have kids, and they know what they're talking about. So just by that, because we knew that was a winning situation, and in the moment that we say, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and obviously we prepare them, like we give them a heads up. It was not new to them. They say, okay, in this summer we're gonna implement single sign-on. So they knew in summer will come, right? Then at the moment that we launch it, right, we explain them what we did, we explained them the decision-making process, we explained them how it's gonna happen and when what's gonna happen. And it was like this, easy to adjust for the teachers, easy to get for the students. And there was one caveat that we didn't calculate it in that moment, which was the implementation of integrating Microsoft as well. So at the beginning of the project, we only considered Google for it. But then we realized we also can do it in Microsoft. And remember, this organization in particular have their devices in Azure. So since they are in Azure, we're using Autopilot Intune. So Autopilot Intune means one single point of access to Microsoft account. So nobody can use that computer if it's not from that organization. So in the moment that we created the users from the Clever console, basically we didn't need to do anything. Everything was set. The student just need to sign in their computer, and automatically the computer was going to provision everything and then getting access to the computer and device, right? And in the Microsoft environment. And the Google environment is easier because they are logging in with Google. So in the moment they log in, they already have access to. And the first tab we pop up is the Clever portal, so they know this is the way to go, And then nothing is saved in there in those devices, just to have clarity, right? Students usually don't save data on their devices. The data is stored in the cloud. They have a system to learn. So basically every single file, whatever they work with, is in the cloud. So basically those computers are like a tablet for them. They just access it and then start working.
So they can work from anywhere as long as they have internet access. That's, I mean, that's the,
that's how the
golden goose, like being able to do that as a student, and especially adult students at this school who are often, working families, working parents, and they need to be able to work on their homework when they get a chance to.
And the way I can tell you this project was a success because nobody has complained, and we have almost zero tickets.
Wow.
Almost zero tickets. So
wow.
It's just a glitch of some students who are returning students, but that's something that is easy to fix.
Yeah.
But if in technology, when nobody complains, that means successful. They don't need to say you're successful. We know it's successful because it's zero complaints.
Yeah, no, that is so amazing. I love this project too, because, we often say that we want to partner with our clients and we want to be a trusted partner. So we know that our clients, they know what they want to do. Nonprofits always have very clearly, they know what their business is, they know what their community is that they're working in, they know what they wish they would be able to do, but they're not going to be an expert in what technology is out there and available and is going to save them money or is worth the investment. And that's where we come in.
So we offer an ITBM, right? That's exactly the ITBM job.
Exactly. So it's our job to know what the technology landscape is and what software is available, or, that single sign-on exists and it would be a good idea in this case. And then we work with the clients. And that's why I love this project that you're talking about, because it sounds like such a good partnership.
It is. And that's the most important piece, that the organization understand how we work, and they trust us, right? We're doing this, and then the good thing they need to know, everybody who wants to work with community, they need to know that we have plus 200 clients. And that's a hub for learning and improvement. So basically, we're constantly being challenged, and we're constantly learning, and we are constantly adjusting to those challenges that we face. And basically, we improve little by little, little by little, little by little. So now, when you're talking, and also community has a very low rate of people who leave the organization. So some of our engineers have been in the company for 10 plus years. So it's people who knows what they do, they know how to do it. I mean, we have different styles, but at the end of the day, we know how to do the work. So that's important to have in mind.
Yeah, when you hire community IT, when you partner with us, you're not just getting that single point of contact, or you're not just talking to the help desk. We're all talking to each other as a team behind the scenes also. So if you are working with one school and you have this incredibly easy implementation that went really well, that solved a lot of problems and challenges that school was having, then anyone else on your team who's also working with a school is going to think, oh, maybe that would be a value that we could use with a different partner too. So we're always trying to figure out where, we're working with nonprofits. So we always want to do what's going to be in their interest to save them money, save them time, and make it easier to do their mission. In this case, having the students be able to work remotely.
That is correct. Yep. We are not there we don't want to partner with an organization just for a couple of years. We want to partner with them for a long time. And also the retention client time with us I think it's one of the highest I don't want to say in the country, but it's possible that it's one of the highest in the country. We have clients with us for more than 20 years. So that tells you how good we are with them and how good they feel with us, right?
Yeah.
So we treat them equally, fairly, and we give them our best advice all the time. It's up to the organization to make the decisions, but we give them our advice, and that's when the trust comes in play. So in this particular project, the organization knows us because we have been working with them for more than 2 years, and also they are willing to challenge their staff, and tell them, hey, we need to execute this project, we need to make it happen now. So be ready. And now the staff is ready for the change, because change is difficult. And some people, it's not easy to make a change and an adjustment, right? So that is important to have in mind too. If you want to make a change, first, your leadership needs to be on board, right? As soon as your leadership is on board, you need to bring everybody on board. You're not going to please 100% of your staff, because that's not going to happen. It's a reality, right? There is always one person who's going to complain. There's always one person who's going to be against a project. There is always one person who's going to have a better solution than the one you're bringing in. But if you get stuck in that, you're not going to make it. So the important piece is leadership needs to understand that it needs to happen. And we will help you to make it happen. Then we create a good partnership.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and this partnership is really just the longer we work with a client, I think the better we get to know them, the more able we are to help with big projects, help with little projects day to day, see where we can help them make good IT decisions. But they make the decisions, as you said.
They made the decision. We just give them our advice, and then we convince them sometimes. And sometimes they convince us. And I don't know what to say. Sometimes we just go for it, but sometimes, we don't have 100% success, right? There's always a range of something happening that is out of our control. Technology-wise, we know what to do, but people-wise, it's difficult because
people are people.
It's people are people, exactly. So, but you have to be mindful about it, right? And then you need to understand that that's the scenario you're going to face, and that's it.
Yeah, no, when I did the change management webinar just a couple of months ago, it's all about people. Like technology doesn't exist in a vacuum of just technology. It's people who have to use it, people who make the decisions to invest in it, people who have to implement it, people who roll it out. So it's really important to work with the people and do all of the change management that you talked about, making sure that the leadership is involved, making sure that there's a lot of communication when we're going to do it, why we're doing it, how it's going to work, that you have mechanisms for people to give you that feedback, which it's so wonderful when there aren't any complaints and there aren't any tickets and negative feedback. And I think that helps too when you're working with a partner who can do a really successful implementation like this one. Then all of those staff members who maybe were skeptical, they can breathe a sigh of relief and be like, oh, this works. Like, this makes my life better and it makes my work easier. And what are we going to do next?
Exactly. That's exactly the message. What is next? And now we are working on cybersecurity with that organization, which is fantastic. We keep it rolling and keep improving every day. That's what we do.
Thank you so much for your time today, Norwin. I know you were super busy going from here and there and other things that you had to do, but I really want to thank you for sharing this case study with us today about clever single sign-on. And it just sounds like it went so well, and I was really happy to hear about it.
Thank you. My pleasure to share knowledge.
Community IT does these free webinars and podcasts for our community, and we love sharing our knowledge and experience. If you have more questions or are having trouble with your IT at your nonprofit, please get in touch with us on our website, www.communityit.com, so we can start a conversation or schedule an assessment. Downloading any of our free resources there will get you signed up for our webinar reminders, and you can attend our next webinar in real time and ask our experts your own questions. If you love podcasts, please subscribe and leave us a rating to help others find this leadership resource for nonprofits.